Hello my friends, and welcome back to Stinky Robot channel. I'm Michael Smell and welcome to my studio, guys. On the channel we do a drawing from pretty much from start to finish. Today's no exception. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Hope you grab a piece of paper and a pencil and join me, draw with me, sketch with me. As we get started here, guys, I'm gonna kind of jump right into it today. FYI, if you look above my head, I am doing a drawing and a giveaway on June 16th. If you want to enter it and you want to know how to enter it, down there in the description below, we'll tell you all about it, how to get in. Hopefully you'll join this, jump over the website and put in words. Let's see if I can talk today. Put in an entry form. It's down there below. And with that, let's get started. Today I'm just gonna feel like jumping right in, getting us going pretty quick today. I got a quick little sketch here, so let's ink it in so you can see it a little bit better. And from here, we'll be using the FW inks as always to basically paint in with ink. I'm not sure really should call these a drawing or painting. I'm kind of on the fence of what to call them. I feel like they're more of a drawing, but I use a lot of brushes and paints and the acrylic inks, and I paint with them. So I changed the title on this one to drawing. I kind of feel like maybe it's more appropriate to be calling it a drawing. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Drawing or painting? What's the official term for what I'm doing? I feel like it could go basically any way, either way. Well, I'm telling you, words are, I have a hard time with words today. This could be a real fun live stream. Show up the Stinky Robot. Watch the bumbling idiot try to talk while he draws. That's all good. Wonder if you can make fun of yourself. No, most likely the reason I can't talk today is I just literally got done slamming my dinner as fast as possible to go to live. I sparked up the grill and I barbecued tonight and threw some steaks and pork chops on the grill, and my wife made massive baked potatoes. Really good dinner. But we were a little off on the whole timing aspect of it, so normally I go live a little earlier than I do tonight. But again, that was because I was barbecuing. So slammed my dinner down as quick as I could and ran up here. Probably talking with a little bit of steak gut right now. I'm just so full. I am full. It was good. One thing we know how to do up here in Kansas City, and that is barbecue. We're probably not going to do a blackout today. I had the idea, I love doing the forest bot, so I'm doing another forest overgrowth on the robot today. That's going to be a little bit smaller, not as big of a portrait as I typically do. Definitely should be just as fun. And here on Stinky Robot, we are a fairly new channel, still chasing the algorithm. So if you want to show me a little bit of love and hit that like button, leave me a comment, join the chat, all that good stuff. Greatly appreciate it. You guys are fantastic. And if you want to know when I go live, there's always that bell notification. P-Fungaton, what's up, my friend? Welcome back. Haven't seen you on here in a little while. How you been? You got yourself entered in the contest yet? We're doing pretty good over here in the Smell household. And so far, a pretty good summer. Kids are just chomping at the bit to get down to the swimming pool. We haven't made it yet. It's kind of a whole drama in our household. When's the first time we're gonna get in the swimming pool, Dad? It's just been so darn cold and rainy. I'm like, maybe not this week. Who knows? If the weather stays good, we'll go out this weekend. But good deal. Got our old dead tree here on this side. This is a fun part here. Oh. We're working so small, I'm just kind of putting in the idea of trees. We're not going to get overly detailed tree work, but we're going to definitely add some. I want to get the good idea of the forest in here. Let's put some rocks in here. Have a little rock outcroppings in here. Now, just keep on working it. Hopefully you guys can see what's going on. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, right now I'm just working on getting this outline done. Feel free to jump in the chat if you'd like to talk about anything in particular. We're always just... Got any questions for me? Go ahead and ask. You want to just hang out? You want to talk trivia? You want to talk about anything? No worries. You want to just get a piece of paper and draw with me? That is fantastic. Fine work here coming out. Cool. Always fun. Now, I kind of got some I can kind of roughly make some rock croppings out here. So we're gonna play with this and see if I can make it look like rock croppings. No promising. This is kind of something, we're trying something new here today. So hopefully I can make it look right. We will know soon enough, that's for sure. More foliage type trees. Awesome. Liking that. Keep on. Tree trunks in here. So we'll do in here. We'll play around, see how we can. Box here. Keep it nice and simple. All right, I think we're getting pretty close to being done here. Let's add the rivets in here. Gotta get those rivets. Oh, thanks, P-Funk. Appreciate that, my man. Been starting off with some preliminary sketches from the beginning on some of these lately. I'm really liking the results from that. Just give me a little more time to play with details, and it's really kind of been working out nicely for me lately. Yeah, I'm really liking it. Okay. Let's throw down with the eraser. Let's start working this. We got our sketch already. What is Meg? It's rattling. Yeah, this one was a pretty quick little sketch I did today. What's up, Jason? Actually, I think I might add some more forest roots on here real quick. They weren't in the sketch, but I think I need them. Yeah, this is the quick little diddle I did while waiting for the coals to heat up earlier. So this is a quick sketch, but I think it's turned out pretty awesome. Where did my pen go? There we go. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. I like it that. That's better. And a few more of those roots really kind of help out. There we go. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, now I do believe we need a light background color for this one. What color should we do? A typical person would say, well, blue, obviously. A sky. That's too obvious. I think orange, slightly with a little bit of antelope. This kind of, there's gonna be a lot of antelope in the piece. Maybe not. Just I don't know what color we use. If I can find it, I think we use a little raw sienna. That's flesh. That's my raw sienna. So a little raw sienna, a little bit of orange. I think we'll put these two together on the background here. And then when we come in here to hit the metal detail, I'll probably do them similar to the one I did on Tuesday's live stream. We'll do a light blue inside of here, and then that will play really nicely off that orange. In theory, let's find out in practice if that works like I want it to. We'll use those two colors. I might even speckle in just a little bit of... No, you know what? Not even gonna go there. Brushes. Our background a little bit. Now, I really want to stay in the lines. Oh, we're actually going to use a smaller brush to do all this. I want to get right up in the trees, but I do not want to wet inside the trees. It will just somewhat help the paint flow the direction we want it to. Won't be perfect, but it'll have a better shot of not messing up. So goes the theory. Eraser. Apparently I've got a lot of eraser chunks still on here. Paper nice and damp. Probably don't have to worry too much about these roots. We can go back over those. Sure. Just worry on that. Okay. Nothing more exciting than drawing with water, don't you think, guys? Isn't that the most intriguing part of when I do my live streams? Water drawing. Yeah, you know, we'll just see how layers go. We might actually add a little bit of the earth red into the mix with the orange. I want to go straight orange, like maybe a slight mixture might look nice. We'll layer it and see. Let's leave that in realm of possibilities. Okay. Keep these pretty darn wet. I wanted to stay very, very light. It's really easy to overpower these colors, and we do not want that. Keep washing these out. Right now we're just using the raw sienna. No orange yet. Kind of feathering these colors out into the background. Yes. And that will go at the bottom very last. Keep it wet, keep it flowing. That's kind of the key right now. Gotta make sure we don't get too heavy on this ink, because that's gonna keep it nice and flowy. This is a base layer for the background. Said. This is more of a landscape portrait. Really love doing these. When I turn my portraits into more of a landscape, it's a lot of fun. Do this on quite a few pieces. I have a bunch in my head, concepts and ideas for even more. Now I'm gonna kind of raise out. I feathered in, almost like could possibly be shadows of more trees. I want to kind of, but color up in these blank spaces, but we don't want to go crazy. Just like almost a hint of color up here. Hint. Okay. Cool. Working this quick and easy so we can get on with that orange. Go ahead and darken up just a little here. All right, now let's actually put that orange in. But I'm gonna go straight orange. We're gonna use orange mixed with color. Do not want it to be overpowering, and we're gonna keep it nice and very wet. Looks really good. Keep this nice and painterly. I don't want to get too much detail in there. Alright, I'm gonna go back to just the light watery cyan, raw sand again, because I forgot these details right in here between branches. Get a little bit of in there now. There we go, like so. Perfect. And now that I'm looking at, I don't think I'm actually going to add any of the. Yeah, I don't know. I still think about it a little bit more. I'm really tempted not to put any of the earth red in there, just to with the orange mixed up, so it would be a darker orange, like a reddish orange. I don't know. On my fence, on the fence. As soon as I think I want to, I'm like no, and then I think no, and then I'm like yeah, maybe. This is what you call indecisive. We will see as we add as we need. I guess is the best way to do it. I'm not gonna follow that dead branch or the dead stick, tree, the twig, whatever I want to call that thing. I'm not gonna trace it up with this orange because that would look really awkward. We're gonna keep it over the main body and let this up just be its own element sticking up there. That would be probably for the best. Oop. More water, please. Almost kind of looks like fire in a way. Yeah, either sunset or a fire, or kind of what I'm going for. It's more of a possible sunset type feeling. Like almost like it's cast in a sunset. Water. Now I'm just kind of pushing the color around in little areas as I feel like it needs. Just little hits here and there. Now the decision to be made on the red. To do it or not to do it. I'm feeling like the answer is no. Yep. I feel like the answer is no. We're gonna stick with what we got right there. Okay. Background in. Let's move on. Let's get our little Roby going. We can get rid of these two colors. We don't need those anymore. may add a little detail here. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna take be very careful not to get this on anywhere on the robot itself. Very subtle. I like it. Okay. I just basically took the raw sienna and I splattered it around a little bit. Okay. I like that. So I'm going to blow dry real quick. All right, to the robot, we're gonna need light blue. We are going to need our gray, light blue. Did I use? I'm feeling lost there for a second. I had an idea, but it's kind of evaded me. So, light blue, and I need my antelope brown. What color did I use yesterday? Or Thursday. Indigo out here. That's Payne's Gray. We'll need Payne's Gray. Looking for one last color that's hiding from it. Right there it is. Indigo. My favorite. It's kind of my favorite go-to palette right now. It's a very yellow color. I'm trying to remember something. Ah, that's what it was. Yes, flesh. Took me a second to remember what in the world I was doing the last time I was on here, but that's right. So to start with a little bit of the flesh tone, because I really like the way that looked. And the blue in the robot. Leave not using flesh tone in the metal. You get a specific look, which is then the flesh and the blue kind of overlap a little bit. You get a nice green, a very, very subtle green that I like. And the flesh tone will actually kind of act as a bit of a reflecting off this background a little bit. So that's what we're going to start off with. Things nice and light. I don't want to go crazy. May appear on camera that I may not, like I'm not doing much. Will over time as I build up layers. Good. Okay, one little. I erased a line that I'm going to need for a second before I go too far while I'm thinking about it. Hey Tank, what's going on, my man? Good to see you showing up. Always a pleasure, my man. It's always a pleasure. Stick this grass in there kind of like so. Let's go in here with this light blue. Same as we did last Tuesday. We're gonna keep this super light, super watery. We do not want to get carried away with this blue at all. Right now, the goal is almost to see how light we can put it on there. As that blue mixes with that right over that flesh tone, gonna give us a super subtle light green. And trace the shadow side on each one of these roots. Now, I want light, but it's got to be enough to at least get ink on there. So light you're not getting ink on there, you're probably too light. Suggestion. Okay. And we're gonna put a couple different shades in there. So we're super light, then we darken some areas up. Kind of want to be at least minimum 2 different tones to the blue. So a really light tone and a little darker tone. A medium tone, I guess is the way I should say. Oh. Leave that kind of shadow in. Remember when we add the gray in there later, it's gonna look real nice. Shadow inside that eye. We're gonna go with the hollow eyes again. Just seem like they'll fit pretty nice on this piece, and I've been favoring them over the jewel eyes a little bit lately. Just a little bit. Probably make the neck darker. Now, as far as the middle tone and we'll probably won't look as sharp as Tuesday's just because that was a much larger one. We're working in basically miniature from what we did on Tuesday. So I'm shrinking everything down a little bit, all the elements, but we're trying to stay with what we did on Tuesday. If you haven't seen that live stream, definitely get a chance to go back and watch that. It turned out awesome. Again, I would say one of my best I think I've ever done on this channel, at least. I'm really happy with Tuesday's live stream. Hopefully everybody gets a chance to check that out. Give me your opinions on it. I always cherish the feedback. Let's see here. Of course, we need to cast shadow off this tree, so. Like that. That's fairly good. A little more of this. Yeah, we're gonna play with quite a bit of shadows here on this one. It looks like we're pulling our light source actually from kind of a side and behind. I want a little more. A little wild on that shadowing. So it's gonna be a real sharp light coming from this angle. So I'll have to be mindful of that when I'm putting in the shadows and all the things. Probably could have pulled it back a little bit further this way, but since I went sharply down this way, we're definitely gonna have to play with more of a side light. That's all good, we can do that. I don't think it's gonna hurt as much. Go. And with darkening these tones up a little bit, and we'll get to India level. It'll get a lot darker. All darkened in. Right now we're just kind of getting messy with it. We're blending it in. We're gonna add the blues, and then we add the grays in there. We'll blend it all together. It'll look a lot like metal once we're done. Less is more at this phase. We're just because we want to keep our whites pretty. Keep the white paper showing through a lot more than this level right here, because we want to use as little white ink as possible when we get to that phase. I might come into this bottom piece here with a little more of this orange, and real quick over here. I think I want to just really fill this in. Like, I don't want to do this. Not that I kind of want to, I definitely am going to do that. There we go. Kind of gives it a purpose down here. Almost like a, it's not a bridge, but like, I don't know. Watery, push the ink around. I like that. That'll do. Goes off pretty nicely with the other elements. Sweet. And add a little bit of indigo now. We'll go with the gray next. Pretty happy with the blue. Probably could have gone a little more on the flesh tone areas, but bring a little of this flesh tone back. Not a lot though. A little bit. And then over top the darkest blues, because I'm trying to push some of those with a little bit of that green, a little bit heavier that I had in here, and I want to add a little bit of contrast when I add the gray in. Basically, so it's somewhat reflective of the background. Flesh tone is similar in color. It's not exactly the same, but it sure looks close. Just warms it up a little bit. Clean over a brush and throw down some indigo. This will be real subtle with this at the moment. Not going to overpower this piece at all, especially before we put the gray in. Once we get the gray, we may add a little bit more. We will hide as we go. Okay, here we go. First place we'll do is definitely here on the side of the head. Get that marked in pretty quick. Remember, these are not the full-on shadow details that we're going to put in later. That we will use Payne's Gray for. Just kind of marking in the initial depths for the shadows, darkening it up a bit. I need more indigo than that, but there's too little out. That'll be plenty, I'm sure. Quite a bit out there. That was probably too much. Okay, building. I've not done those rivets yet, so that's another step here in a second before we go too much further. Is we're gonna have to go back and mark up those rivets. Kind of skipped over them in the initial pass. You'll need a second to go. Definitely gonna get inside these eyes a little bit. Oh, good. Shadow details. Little at a time. Taking our time. We're not worrying about making it all happen at once. Cool. A little bit more on this arm here, for sure. Really just allowing myself to be a bit painterly with it. Okay. Now it's time to blend this all together with the gray. All right, take a second here, guys, to do a little self-promotion. These live stream is brought to you by StinkyRobotArt.com. That is my website. If you haven't been over there, you'd like to check out some of my work, or if you just want to support me and the channel, you can jump over there. I've got prints. I've got the original live streams here available for sale. All kinds of fun stuff. If you want to see what my larger body of work looks like when I'm not going live, by all means, jump over to that website right below my face right here at StinkyRobotArt.com. Also, don't forget about the contest I've got going on June 16th. We'll be drawing for that print right above me. That's Rusty's Pigeons, as well as two of my live stream drawings will be given away on the live stream on that day. Just for more information, description right below me. Tell you all about it. If you want to support me in the channel, the best way to do so is to jump over to the website and make a purchase. Get yourself some new art for your house. Give me a little bit of support as we build this channel here on YouTube. All right. Now let's do this gray. For me, this is kind of always where it comes to life as I put the gray on. Start off real watery, then we'll add some different tones, some lighter, some darker. And leave some areas pure white for sure. Those are going to be I want him to feel a little bit dirty, a little bit junkyard type, because he is covered in soil and he is extremely dirty. So we can get a little more messy with him than we would normally. We will add some rust details in here in a minute as well. He'll have some areas of rust showing through. We don't want to get too dark though on the highlighted side, so we'll leave that. We want a nice stark highlight. Oh, that looks fantastic. No. Okay. Oh, that looks good. Looks good. Look at this. Try to darken this up right here. Maybe a little bit right now while we can. Go back to the grays. Get in on those grays. I need to go back in after I get the grays in, we'll hit one more time and pull these rivets out a little bit. Left out of the process so far. I'm gonna need to put some little bit of shadow details on these rivets. I didn't rush it too quickly. I didn't want to put them in there immediately. I wanted to save it till the end. And I'll put the shadows and highlights on these rivets. So. It's typically something I wait till the end for is the shadows and rivets when I do them. Now we're cool. A little bit darker on him just because that is getting a sharp highlight from that side. Cool. Really liking where we're going with him now. So let's go ahead and pop those rivets in there real quick. Back to the indigo. Go. And give it a nice little push here on the shadow side of each one of these rivets. Pop a little white highlight on each one of these at the very end when we do the now just a little bit of each shadow side, just like that. Get all of them. They're really easy to miss a few. Alright, where's our Payne's Gray at? We're going to finish him 100% before we move on because we're working back to front. So we're going to get the robot 100% completed, then we'll move into working on grass and trees. gray. Cool. Remember this, a little goes a long way, so we're being a little reserved on this Payne's gray. We're just kind of getting right up where we need to be. Okay, make sure I'm still live here. No one's been talking in a while, so I've got to check. All right, still live. Falling off a bit, but that's okay. Feel free to jump in the chat if you got any question, guys. If you just want to say hi. Smash that thumbs up. Do all the fun YouTube stuff. Bell notifications and whatnot. Sometimes it gets real tricky to... Hey, what's up, WT? It gets pretty tricky sometimes to try to talk while you're working because you're so focused and concentrating here that sometimes it can be a little difficult. So it's one of the things I'm trying to train myself to try to talk and be entertaining at the same time. Say what I'm working on, what I'm doing as I do it. And, staying fully focused on what I'm doing. All this while attempting not to sound like a bumbling idiot. That's the fun. I watch the YouTube channels and I'm like, hey, I could do that. That looks real easy. Not so much so. Of course, a lot of those guys have a script written out. They know what they're going to say ahead of time. They probably practice a few times. And I don't do any of that. You're getting the real me here on the channel. I literally just, I'm working and I'm talking. If I sound like a bumbling idiot, well, my wife would probably tell you that's 100% accurate. And she would not be lying. Yeah, one thing I definitely do on this channel is script it out. Probably smarter if I did. But I'm an artist first. YouTuber second. Or third or fourth. somewhere down the line, I do the YouTube thing. Cool. I'm liking that. That looks really good. Now we'll just come back in here. We're gonna add little white highlights in him, and then we can move on. I really like the way that looks. That's looking pretty dang fantastic. Yeah. Throw some white down and move into the forest. I was flipping through some of the live stream drawings that I still have, and it is crazy how far I've come in such a short period of time. You know, I knew that this YouTube channel and forcing myself to jump out here and create new work on a spot like this was going to be beneficial to me. Which one of the most reasons I was excited about doing this channel was to literally push the boundaries of my own work and what I'm capable of in a new medium. And really liking the way the outcome of it. It was just, you know, I highly suggest it to anyone who's interested in art to do that, to push yourself into a situation where you don't have any choice but to better yourself. You know, end result of this live portion of this channel is definitely to encourage other artists to join me. Grab a piece of paper, pencils, some acrylic inks, paints, chalks, you know, anything you want. Just grab yourself a sketchbook you use just for this purpose, and join us. Just draw, push your boundaries. See what a few drawings a week in a short period of time, which is the entire purpose of that clock right there. Just to keep a nice moderate time on ourselves so we don't overdo it and end up with a full work of art, you know, an entire painting or something. Just push the boundaries of what you can do. A lot of fun. Fantastic challenge. Awesome. I think I'm going to end it right there. It was very little white highlights, but just don't need much. Well, we do need the rivets, so we're going to grab my real tiny brush. I'm not even going to add any water. I'm just going to go straight white. Nice bright white pop. Now I'm going to get my big old head in the shot for a minute. So excuse the hat. But these are definitely very small, tiny little details. And I've definitely got to look over my glasses and get real close to get in there. What's up, Stacy? You say that every day. I guess that's a good thing. I've yet to hear you say, I hate this one. So, must be doing something right. Now we're at a little black, but this is probably the only black I'm gonna put in the entire piece. Although I may bring some black into this, just kind of about, I don't know. We'll see. I do need black for the eyes. Thanks, W. It's a fun one. All right, once again, big old head's gonna get in the way because small spaces, and I gotta work over the glasses. Cool. Now we're going to come in here and add just a tiny little bit of rust detail. We're not going to go too crazy with it, but we definitely want a little bit. So I'm going to use a little of the antelope brown. It's not going to get as detailed as we did with the rust the other day. This is pretty much just going to take some light, watery antelope, just very watered down, and just kind of put it where we want the rust. And like I said, I always like to do a little bit of rust in the eyes. I feel like that's the area that would rust up the most. Then we go with some straight brown over top of that. No. Alright, don't dip it into black because that could be bad. Brush right in here. Do this. Cool. And that rust really adds to, looks great. Okay, that's just about all I'm going to need. Okay, yep, I think that'll do me. Maybe a tiny smidget right up here. But this is kind of running down his head. That's good right there. That's good. Yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate that. I'm gonna come in the these vines a little bit, make them brown, but try to leave some of the white highlights in there. Make them 100% brown. Alright, we got one last detail we gotta add. Let's go back into the Payne's Gray. We need to add neck. And the neck details in here. White, Payne's. Get a nice gray, bluish gray out of it. Now bring in the white highlights. Now, it's a little not as crisp as I want it, so I'm gonna come in here and try to clean it up a little bit of Payne's Gray. There. Good enough. Good enough. Ah, I got some dents up there in the forehead. So what I'm gonna do is take some gray. Just lightly accentuate those dents. It's a very subtle detail. Now I'll go back into some. There. Very, very subtle. Now he's got a couple dents. And I think that is robot completed. Moving on. No, I don't want to use any of this shimmery stuff. I'm gonna leave all my glitter inks out. We're gonna start with a light green base. I'm gonna get rid of this palette because the robot's finished. Move on to the next palette. And leave the indigo out for now. Switch out the indigo for. No, let's leave the indigo. Leave it out. Green. I got some other greens in here. Olive. Emerald. The emerald might be just too strong for us. We're gonna bring out the olive. And yeah, the marine blue. So, we'll start off real light here. We're just gonna kind of shade in the grass green. Step one, green grass. I'll leave this nice and light. We do not want a super dark bright green, that's for sure. We just want to get green out. May be hard to see now, but got a whole rock face right here. It's gonna be fun and tricky to do. Be very careful, we don't want to overdo this. Do not want a super dark green. Not yet, at least. We will be doing some dark green, don't get me wrong. Right now, we're just kind of toning everywhere that was going to be grass. Getting it kind of toned in, leaving some white spaces for future highlights. Cool. I'm going to say yay on that. Awesome. And we're going to bring in a little bit of this marine blue and we're going to mix it with the looks. We also might be bringing in a little bit of that antelope brown as we go. So mixing the lime green, the antelope brown, and the marine blue. Those are going to be kind of our palette on this as of right now. Gonna make it a very blue green, but the antelope will just pull it down a little bit. Again, trying to stay a bit on the watery side. Now we're going to start playing in our shadowed areas. And we're doing something we've never done before, so this is going to be a little bit tricky. And it's a bit experiment. In fact, it's a lot experimental. Some of the things I'm doing right now may work great, may not work as well as I want them to. But we're playing around with doing grass for the first time with these acrylic inks, so if they fail, then we will know as of today. And next time we do grass, they may not fail as hard. So I'm not going to pretend that these are going to be the best looking grass I've ever done, because I've never really done it with acrylic ink. This is a first attempt kind of situation. So don't judge too harshly on what my grass looks like today. That's why I'm trying to take my time and layer it slowly. Sure, in the future I'll be a lot quicker at it. As for today, all purely experimental. So you can always leave me a comment at the very end of the video and let me know, did I think the grass turned out good, bad, ideas, suggestions I could do to make it better. I'm always open. I'll probably do 3 or 4 layers here on the grass to get us to the final tone where you're gonna want to be. I don't hate that, that's for sure. I think fairly sharp. Cool. I'll come here in a second. I want to be careful with the antelope ground green, because if I use too much antelope green, we will become more and more olive color. We're somewhat trying to avoid that, because we're going to be using olive here in a minute on these aspen or pine or cedar, whatever we want to call these. I like pine trees most likely. Yeah, they're pine trees. But we will use it just a bit. In here, more of a straight brown type. Just in our darkest of shadowed areas, where the light really isn't hitting well. Looking pretty darn sharp. Pretty darn sharp indeed. Okay. What's next? Take this really light tree trunks. I'm gonna kind of here and keep them watered down. Tree trunks. We get all these tree trunks done in here. I will Going with a little darker brown. Make sure I leave a highlight on either all those tree trunks. Now I'm going to come in here in my burnt sienna. Oh, that's sepia. There we go, burnt umber, sorry, not burnt sienna. I burnt umber and darken this brown up just a tiny little bit. Won't take very much at all. It's almost just a dip in the ink. Just very, very little here. Go. All right. Good. I think I might do a little heavier line weight on the very back of all of this. Just on the shadowed side. We'll see at the very end. It might help it out a little bit. Pop off the paper just that tiny little bit we need. We'll make that decision at the end. Now we're moving through it pretty quick, so. All right, we're almost done the grass. Before we finish, we're gonna do the same thing. Gonna come in here lightly with our Payne's Gray and just kind of pop up our shadows a little bit. We do not want to be too colorful. Leave this dark. Right up under these trees. Let the branches pop a bit. Okay. And one last thing, let's go up here. The rock outcropping here. Okay. Next, we're going to do our rocks. For our rocks, there's where we're going to bring out our lightly red, red earth, and gray, and black, with some white highlights. If that all works out for me. Pick. Just for fun, I might put a splash of purple in. Red, purple. Start there. Kind of first very lightly. Shadows in there. little bit of rocks here. Here and these as well. Tiny bit more purple. This purple will help it pop off that green a little bit. So there's a lot of the green. I hate to go to straight gray with the rocks. Like your instinct would be to make all the gray rocks gray. Well, if I made all the rocks just gray, it's really going to blend in with the robot too much or to the trees too much. So I think this little bit of purple in there should help set it off. That's the theory. Again, it's all theory until it's proven. We'll see how well it gets proven. Now to the gray. The white highlights gray and white. Goes out. Alright, that's pretty decent. Now I need to bring in a little indigo. Push these rocks back a little bit. The shadows at least, and then we'll add the highlights on top of it. Not sure how well this is working. We're attempting it. Trying out new things. Definitely is not the end of the world. Pretty decent. Wondering if I should have gone more black at that instead. Where is my black? There it is. A little bit of black, white. Yeah, that looks. That looks way better. Okay, that was a good move. That was a good move. Now, I'll come with white. Kind of sculpting these rocks out. Yeah, that looks way better. More realistic for sure. Yep. That's what I needed. Now we're gonna let that dry. I'm gonna put some brighter white on it. Perfect. And that looks like a rock face. And go straight to black. Cool. Took a second for me to get there, but now it looks good. That looks. And you do a little bit of. Okay, now we'll do these trees last. I think the next step be to pull in the mid trees right there. There. Okay, that looks good. For this, we're going to start with the yellow ochre color. The colors we will not need. Right in here with yellow ochre. Put it in. Leaving quite a bit of white space in here. We don't want to go all full color on this one. Slightly different trees than we'll have in the rest of it, so go full yellow ochre. Followed by bringing in a little bit of this orange. The contrast. Time, unlike the background, we're going to be more bright orange. And loose and almost spotty like. Now we're going to bring in that lime green. Almost like the leaves are starting to change colors. A little bit darker, add some of the green blue in it, same as we did with the grass. Gonna kind of match the grass a bit. Absolutely fine. Keep working this till it looks good. Leaving some highlights around the edge of the trees. Doing some shadow details. Now we're going to skip this kind of over into the black. Some like almost like some gaps in the Okay, that did not. No, I'm a black. I'm gonna blend that in with blue now. Mainly just doing it right here on the front tree, just to push. Our shadowed side down. We need our shadowed side of these trees on the downside. Some more Payne's gray. I'll leave black. Wow, there it is. working our separation just a little bit. There we go. It gives us a bit of separation here between the inside of the forest trees and underneath these trees. Cool. Looks pretty good right there. Now I want to make this a little brighter, so we're going to go in here to our nice, gorgeous Indian yellow, and we're going to just pop the whole thing out. Base. Gonna lightly rub it over top of these tree areas. Not all of it. I want to leave some white for some highlights area, but this helps make these trees pop a bit. Cool. Yeah, just like so. I think I'll go back this lime green just a little bit, so darker, just into this grassy area a little bit. I'm pretty much done, ready to move into these last trees. So I'm gonna darken this grass up a little bit. It's looking a little bit dull. So definitely don't do the whole thing. I'll leave a lot of the white highlights through, but I'm just gonna bring the grass to a slightly darker shade in some areas. There you go, just helps it pop it off. Now that I got some of the trees done, I can see how dark I can go with it. Make sure we have a lot of the white highlights showing. Do not want to lose all our white highlights at all. That's really what helps kind of give it its texture. Cool. Gonna take a tiny little drop of gray. Right now I'm kind of fine tuning as we go here, guys. So bear with me a bit. I know I got only one more element to go. We're getting really close, but I don't want to get so carried away that I miss some elements. So this tree needed a little bit of gray. It was just too brown. Yeah, remember it is a dead tree. Like these trees can use a tiny little bit of gray. Tiny little bit. Now we come back and have a tiny little bit of white on this for the highlights on that tree after it dries. Let's see here. That looks good. Kind of almost dry brushing this white on there. Yeah. Okay, sorry, my got all situated there. Coffee in my. Let's move on. Final push. I might go a little highlight or yeah, that thing. Should a little shadow. Bring some white right here in these trees. I might put a bit of a black line, thicker line around the outside perimeter of the shadow side at the very end, and that would help pop the overall drawing here a little bit. Let's see. Now we're ready for our olive color. Save this so I get a slightly different green on these trees. Eyedropper does not work on this color. Which is a real pain. Start by drawing in the shadow side, leaving our highlighted area. And Hank, if you're still watching, I saw your post on Facebook yesterday with the trees, and it just kind of, and we talked about it a little bit, I guess. It kind of was my inspiration for wanting to do trees today. I saw you doing the trees. I was like, you know what, trees would be fun. I haven't done trees in a little while, so the whole idea of doing trees today on the robot and doing a whole forest scene kind of spun from the fact that I saw your trees and we talked about trees yesterday, so it was kind of just in my mind. So I thought, you know what, let's do trees. So thank you for the idea. A little bit of the inspiration today. I appreciate that. Now, it'd be tempting to just do the whole thing green, but as you see, I'm just kind of working on the shadow side. I'm leaving a lot of white space, and I'm planning on leaving a lot of the white space. Kind of randomly popping it in there, like you can kind of see the white highlights throughout the tree. Painting in the green on the shadow side of it, and that's pretty much what we're going to leave it to. I'm just going to work this. Darken this olive up. There's a good color separation. It's a little bit different than the other colors, so it looks really good. Good to hear. I could definitely use some more practicing with my trees, that's for sure. I'm really good at drawing dead trees. Really decent at drawing dead trees. My live ones could use a little work. Not too bad drawing on such a small scale like this. It's the larger scale. Get me in trouble sometimes. Now I got the green just about where I want it. I'm gonna do a little bit more, make it slightly darker. I will come in here and add a little of the indigo to it. Paints are indigo. super careful not to draw over, paint all over everything I've already done. And go out there and that. Actually, you know, I think I'm gonna go with the panes. Do that. Let's see what happens when I add a lot of green, tiny little panes. That might give me the more dark I want. I don't want to overdo the. Definitely be very careful here because I don't want to. All that olive I just laid down, don't want to get rid of it on accident. Super careful what I'm doing. Just kind of almost making spots, just about. Might have to come back on this one and add a little bit more of the olive. I liked it better before I started adding the dark. I think I put too much in. Okay. Easy fix. Oh, that's all good. Work is work. Gotta take care of that. Now we come right back in here with that olive. I think a little bit on this and add some more. 3. Come in here with the darkest panes. Now this front tree is going to get the most amount of detail. The rest of them are medium to light detail. Just about like that is where we're going to end this one. Okay, I like it. Let's take our. I'm going to add some white highlights first, and then we're going to add some darker lines. We're getting real close to topping this one off here, guys. Real close. Definitely want to add more white in that rock face. All just about touch-ups right now. Go in here. Right here in this rock face. Cool. And blow dry it. I'm gonna add a little bit of black ink to it. Should do it. There it is. It's always the last brush I find. This brush is even upside down. Okay. Now, I'm not going to do it the highlighted side. I'm only going to add it to the shadowed side here. Cool. Looks looking pretty good. Yeah. Pretty sharp. Fairly good idea that I had doing this. Something in my eye though. That sucks. Sweet. That's it. We're done. Let's get these inks out of the way. Let's give this sucker a final peel. And we've done ourselves a little bit of a landscape, little cliff forest scene here, built up on our rusty bot. I love doing this. Creating a world on top of the bots is just pretty awesome. There's some larger panes I want to push further. This whole world upon a world kind of idea. Some clean pulls here. Let's see, I kind of got one last final idea. One last little thing. Throw a couple little birds in there, just for fun. Little tiny bird flying in the background. Just gotta slap a mat on it at the very end, just to see what it looks like. I'll mat it up. There we go. Final piece of work, guys. 2 hours and 20 minutes, create ourselves a little landscape. I really like this one. Another successful drawing, in my opinion. Love to know what you think. Leave me a comment down below after the video's over. Let me know what you think. Do you like this one? Do you hate this one? Do you want this one? If you want this one, StinkyRobotArt.com. Drop me a comment, say I want live stream number 46, I do believe. And I'll make sure I send this out to you when you purchase a blind box, or you can just purchase a blind box and get a random live stream just to see which one shows up in the mail for fun. Guys, that's awesome. You're fantastic. So 2 things. Description down below, tell you how to enter the contest on June 16th. Tell you how to enter the contest so you can get in for your chance to win one of my limited edition signed prints of Rusty's pigeons, or 2 of these live stream drawings. So I'm going to give away 2 of these, right that way. So it could be this one, could be one of the other ones. We're going to be giving away 2 of them. That's to be decided on when the contest comes around. So yeah, this one is now available. It'll be if you want it, live stream number 46. Just hit me a comment on my website. Otherwise, guys, we will see you next week. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. For everyone that was in the chat room today, I love you guys. Thank you so very much. Good night, guys.